A guy pulled into my bay last month ready to trade in a truck that had given him 0 problems in 6 years. Why? His brother-in-law told him it was not a real truck. I almost threw my coffee, because that exact truck is one I would buy for my own kid in a heartbeat, and it is number 1 on this list. After 22 years under the hood, I have learned the cruelest joke in the truck world is not the lemons. It is the bulletproof pickups people refuse to buy because of a badge, a body style, or a rumor from 2006. These 6 will run past 250,000 miles on basic maintenance. They are sitting on lots right now for thousands less than they are worth, and almost nobody is looking at them. Let us fix that. Number 6, Nissan Titan. Let me start with the full-size truck that Nissan basically gave up on, which is exactly why it's a bargain. They stopped building the Titan in Mississippi in 2024, and here is a stat that tells you everything about its popularity. In 2022, Ford could move roughly 47 F-150s in the time it took Nissan to sell a single Titan. Nobody wanted them new, which means nobody is bidding on them used. The thing under the hood is a 5.6-liter Endurance V8. That is not marketing fluff. That is the actual engine name, and it earned it. Naturally aspirated, no turbos, port and later direct injection, and a reputation for cruising past 200,000 miles with nothing exotic going wrong. Early ones made around 305 to 317 horsepower. The second-generation trucks from 2017 on jumped to nearly 390 to 400. I had a customer who ran a small landscaping outfit bring me a 2018 Titan with 140,000 miles for a pre-trip inspection before a long haul. I went through the whole drivetrain expecting to find a list. I found a slightly weeping valve cover gasket and tires. That's it. He had paid around $19,000 for it 2 years earlier when a comparable F-150 was closer to $28,000. Same job, same towing for his trailer, $9,000 in his pocket. Here's the inspection checklist if you're shopping one. First, on first-generation trucks, from 2004 to 2015, check the rear brakes and rear differential, because early models had brake and axle complaints, and the 2004 to 2007 build years are the rougher ones. The 2009 and up first-generation trucks are the sweet spot. Second, watch the fuel economy and accept it. These are thirsty, low teens, miles per gallon around town. So if your commute is long, this is not your truck. Third, scan for any timing chain rattle on cold start. It is rare, but worth listening for. Who should buy it? Somebody who tows a boat or a trailer on weekends, wants a V8 that will not nickel and dime them, and does not care about resale because they are keeping it forever. Who should skip it? Anyone obsessed with fuel cost, or anyone who wants to sell in 3 years, because the same low demand that makes it cheap to buy makes it cheap to sell. But if the Titan is the truck nobody bought, this next one is the truck everybody bought and still nobody appreciates. Number 5, Chevrolet Silverado, 1,500 with the 5.3-liter V8. Specifically the Vortec and LS based 5.3-liter engines, and here is why it is on this list, even though there are a million of them. Ubiquity is the secret. When a truck is that common, parts are everywhere. Every mechanic in America has worked on one, and a used long block can be had for absurd money. I have seen running 5.3-liter engines pulled from wrecks, selling for around $800. Try finding a German V8 for $800. The 5.3 is a pushrod V, V8, simple as a hammer, and there are documented Silverados out there with 300,000 and even 400,000 miles on the original bottom end. A forum mechanic put it perfectly. 300,000 miles on a 5.3 is very realistic. Now, I have to be honest with you, because that is the whole point of this channel. The 5.3 has one well-known gremlin, and it is the active fuel management system, the cylinder deactivation setup. On a lot of these trucks, the AFM lifters can collapse and take out a camshaft, and that is the one repair that turns a cheap truck into an expensive afternoon. So here is my real-world advice. When you are inspecting one, cold start it and listen for a lifter tick or a misfire on light throttle. Pull the codes. Ask the seller if the lifters or cam have ever been done. A lot of smart owners install a little device that keeps the engine locked in V8 mode to stop the AFM from cycling, and if the truck has one of those, that is a green flag, not a red one. The 4.8 V8 in these trucks, by the way, did not have AFM at all and is just as tough if you find one. Repair math. A starter is cheap, an alternator is cheap, brakes all around are a couple of hundred in parts, and the whole truck is so well understood that you will never get gouged on a diagnosis. The trade-off is the interior plastics. On the older ones feel like a margarine tub, and the beds love to rust, so check the bed and rockers carefully. But for a guy who wants a do-anything half-ton he can fix in his own driveway with YouTube and a socket set, the 5.3 Silverado is one of the cheapest trucks to keep alive in America. Now the next one is the truck where everybody picks the wrong engine, and it costs them dearly. Number 4, Ford F-150 with the 5.0 Coyote V8. Notice I said the 5.0, not the EcoBoost. This matters, so stay with me. The F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the country, but when buyers walk the lot, they get talked into the turbocharged EcoBoost because it is the newer, smarter engine. And the EcoBoost is genuinely good, but the engine the people who actually fix these trucks keep pointing to is the naturally aspirated 5.0 Coyote 5.8. The logic is dead simple, and a Ford tech said it best. The Coyote has more pistons doing less work. No turbos, no intercooler, no boost-related failure points, just a big V8 loafing along, making 385 horsepower without breaking a sweat. The 5.0 has been in production since 2011, and it regularly reaches 250,000 to 300,000 miles with maintenance. When over 1 million high-mileage trucks were analyzed, the 3.5 EcoBoost actually came out on top for survivors, and the Coyote was right behind it, so both can live long, but the Coyote does it with far fewer expensive ways to fail. Here is the customer story. A contractor came in dead set on a 2018 F-150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost because a salesman sold him on towing torque. I asked him what he actually tows, a 5,000-pound trailer, twice a month. I told him, "You are about to buy cam phaser rattle and carbon cleaning bills you do not need." The EcoBoosts from 2017 to 2018 in particular are known for cam phaser issues which Ford took years to sort. I found him a 2016 F-150 XLT with the 5.0 and 78,000 miles for about $3,000 less. He is past 130,000 miles now. Oil and brakes, nothing else. Inspection checklist for a used 5.0. First, the Coyote has a known tick some owners hear, usually harmless, but listen so you are not surprised. Second, change the oil religiously on whatever F-150 you buy every 5,000 miles because both the V8 and the EcoBoost punish neglect. Third, on 2015 to 2018, trucks check for the brake master cylinder recall and confirm it was handled. If it is a 2017 or newer with the 10-speed automatic, test every shift carefully because that transmission was rough in its early years. The buy advice in one line: get the 2014 last of the steel body trucks or the well-sorted 2019 to 2020 models and pick the V8. Who should skip it? If you genuinely tow heavy every single day, the EcoBoost torque earns its keep. Get the 2018 and newer second generation with the upgraded design. For everyone else who wants a 300,000-mile half-ton, the boring V8 is the smart money. Speaking of engines that just refuse to die, the next truck has a motor that one guy drove to a number you will not believe. Number 3. Toyota Tundra with the 4.7 V8. Everybody worships the Tacoma and forgets the Tundra exists, and that's a gift to you. The first-generation Tundra and the early second-generation models carried the two UZFE, a 4.7-liter V8 that mechanics talk about in almost spiritual terms. Cast iron block, forged steel crank, conservative tuning that asks the engine to make modest power and live forever. Motor Reviewer flatly calls the two UZFE almost bulletproof, and the typical problem-free lifespan is around 300,000 miles. And then there's Victor Shepard. He drove a 2007 Tundra with the 4.7 V8 past 1 million miles on the original engine and transmission, and when Toyota brought it back to study it, the components were still functioning. 1 million. That's not a typo. The newer 5.7 V8 that followed is also a contractor and off-roader favorite, famous for surviving owners who skip maintenance, so if you find a clean early 5.7, that's a fine pick too. But the 4.7 is the one I'd hand to someone who wants to die of old age before the truck does. Now the honest part. The 4.7-liter uses a timing belt, not a chain, and it needs replacing around 90,000 miles. It is an interference engine, so if that belt snaps, the pistons meet the valves and you have a bad day. So the single most important question when buying one is, when was the timing belt last done? If the answer is I do not know, budget for it immediately and do the water pump at the same time since the labor overlaps. Another quirk is these engines can crack an exhaust manifold over the years. That causes an audible tick that is more annoying than fatal. The catch with the Tundra is that the market is finally waking up. Values are climbing, and a clean 4.7-liter with documented belt service is getting harder to find cheap, so move on a good one when you see it. Who should buy it? Someone who wants the closest thing to an immortal truck and does not mind paying for a belt service every few years to get there. Who should skip it? Anyone allergic to fuel stops, because these old V8 engines drink. If you have made it this far, and any of this is saving you from a bad purchase, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I have a whole video coming on the trucks dealers push hardest versus the ones that actually last, and you will want it before your next trip to a lot. Because now we get to the two trucks I recommend more than any others, and the next one is the cheapest mid-size truck to keep running that I have ever serviced. Number 2, Nissan Frontier with the 4.0 V6. This is the truck I send budget buyers to without hesitation. The 4.0-liter VQ 4TDE V6 makes 261 horsepower and 281 pound-feet, and Nissan barely changed the Frontier from 2005 to 2019, which sounds like laziness, but is actually a blessing. It means the bugs got found and fixed a decade ago, parts are dirt cheap, and the design is so simple that I can do almost any job on it fast. These engines routinely run past 200,000 miles, and I have read documented owners well beyond 400,000. A loyal customer of mine, a retired guy who hauls firewood, has a 2013 Frontier with 215,000 miles, and the only non-maintenance thing I have replaced is a radiator. Which brings me to the warning, because this truck has one famous trap. On the 2005 to 2010 models, the radiator has an internal transmission cooler that can fail and let coolant mix into the transmission fluid. Owners call it the strawberry milkshake, and if you see pink froth on the transmission dipstick, that transmission is cooking itself. The fix, if you catch it early, is to replace the factory radiator with an aftermarket aluminum unit and flush the transmission. The other thing on those same early years is a secondary timing chain and tensioner that can wear and rattle. Nissan beefed that up around 2011. So the buying rule is simple. On a 2005 to 2010 model, confirm the radiator has been replaced and check the transmission fluid yourself. And on 2011 models and later, you have largely sidestepped both problems. Beyond that, watch OIL consumption on high-mile examples and add a cheap rear axle vent breather mod that the forums swear by to protect the differential. Inspection in the lot, pull the transmission dipstick and look for pink contamination. Listen for chain rattle on cold start, and check the frame for rust if it lived where they salt roads. Who should buy it? The person who wants a tough, simple mid-size work truck for under $15,000 that they can maintain themselves and run into the ground. Who should skip it? Anyone who needs a roomy, modern interior or a cushy ride, because these old Frontiers are basic and the back seat is tight. But the cheapness to own is the whole point, and almost nobody shopping mid-size trucks even puts it on the list. Which brings me to number one, the truck that started this whole video, the one my customer almost traded away because somebody told him it was not a real truck. Number one, Honda Ridgeline. I already know some of you just rolled your eyes, and that reaction is exactly why this truck is the best kept secret in the entire used pickup market. People hear unibody and Honda and decide it's a crossover wearing a costume. Here's what they're missing. The Ridgeline runs Honda's 3.5-liter J35 V6, the same family of engine that's powered Pilots, Odysseys, and Accords for 2 decades, and it's one of the most proven V6 engines on the planet. The second-generation Ridgeline from 2017 on can go up to around 280,000 miles on average, and there are documented examples past 300,000 still running like new. RepairPal pegs the average annual repair cost at about $502, lower than the mid-size truck average and well under the all-vehicle average, and Honda's own data shows its likelihood of needing a major repair in the first decade is second only to Toyota. Let me tell you about the guy from the intro. He had a 2018 Ridgeline, 6 years, not one breakdown, smooth as a sedan, and he was ready to dump it for a real body-on-frame truck because of one comment at a barbecue. I walked him out to the lot and showed him what those real trucks were going for. Then asked him what he'd actually done with his Ridgeline in 6 years. Hauled mulch, plywood, mountain bikes, and a dirt bike, and towed a small trailer. I said, "You've never once needed more truck than you have, and you've never once been stuck on the side of the road. Why are you punishing yourself?" He kept it. Here's the engineering most people never hear. The Ridgeline rides like a car because it's a unibody. The in-bed trunk is genuinely brilliant for groceries and tools, and that V6 is so undramatic that mechanics get bored servicing it. But I will give you the two things to know, because honest is the whole brand here. First, the J35 is an interference engine with a timing belt on these, and that belt needs to be replaced around 105,000 miles. Do not stretch it, because if it goes, the valves are toast. Second, the engine uses variable cylinder management, the cylinder deactivation system. On Honda 5, 6 engines, VCM is the thing that can cause oil burning and the occasional gasket weep over time. Plenty of owners simply manage it and run past 250,000 miles anyway, and some disable VCM entirely for peace of mind. Avoid the 2006 first gen and the very first 2017 model year, which had the typical first-year electrical and accessory bugs. By 2020, the complaints fall off a cliff. Inspection checklist. First and most important, get the timing belt service history. And if it is near or past 105,000 miles, with no record, budget to do the belt and water pump immediately. Second, check the oil level and look for any burning smell, a VCM tell. Third, replace the differential and transmission fluid on schedule, because the rare problems reported are differential and shifting issues that proper fluid service prevents. Fourth, my pro tip, the Ridgeline attracts exactly the kind of careful, suburban, do-the-maintenance owner you want to buy a used vehicle from. So the typical example has been babied. Who should buy it? Anyone who actually uses a truck for daily driver duty, home projects, gear hauling, and light towing, which is what 90% of truck owners genuinely do, and who wants Honda reliability and a car-like ride for thousands less than a respected badge. Who should skip it? If you tow heavy regularly or rock crawl, get a body-on-frame truck, the Ridgeline is not built for that, and I will not pretend it is. But if you are being honest about how you use a pickup, this is the lowest stress, lowest cost truck to own on this entire list, and people give them away cheap purely because of ego. So there they are. 6 pickups the market forgot, but the shop didn't. The Nissan Titan, the V8 bargain nobody bid on. The 5.3 Silverado, the truck you can fix with a forum and a wrench. The 5.0 Coyote F-150, the right engine in the most popular truck in America. The 4.7 Tundra, the literal million-mile motor. The 4.0 Frontier, the cheapest midsize to keep alive. And the Honda Ridgeline, the truck people are too proud to buy and too smart not to. Every one of these will outlast vehicles costing twice as much, and every one is cheap to keep running if you do the simple stuff and avoid the few traps I just handed you. Next time a salesperson steers you toward a flashy lease return, or your brother-in-law tells you what a real truck is, you'll know better. If you want the trucks that have earned legendary status in my shop, the ones that genuinely refuse to die, I made a whole view on that, and it's right here. That's 22 years of watching trucks roll in and out. Like it if it helped, subscribe for the truth dealers won't tell you, and remember, take care of the truck and it will take care of you. Take it or leave it. I'll see you in the next one.